Right now, Bryce Young is slotted and will be starting this weekend against the Denver Broncos after Andy Dalton hurt his thumb in a car accident. And before this injury, it was all signs are pointing towards Bryce Young being traded from the Carolina Panthers for seemingly anything. The Panthers were willing to sell Bryce Young in a buyer's market. There's a lot of supply, not a lot of demand for this guy. The supply is Bryce Young, the demand is very minimal for him. But it would be foolish to not give Bryce Young the entirety of the season to show whether or not he's worthy of being the quarterback of the future for the Carolina Panthers. Not based off of, they gave up DJ Moore and Caleb Williams for him. No. Based solely off of the fact that he was never given a fair shot in the first year, wasn't given a fair shot his first 2 weeks on Carolina this year, and if history tells us anything, it shows that if the Panthers move off of him now, their front office is just a disaster class more than ever before. Because when you look at the history of quarterbacks drafted in the first rounds since 2014, every single quarterback was given at least 2 full seasons to start on their respective team. Kenny Pickett was given 2 years on Pittsburgh. Baker Mayfield was given 4 years on the Browns. You look at Johnny Manziel. He was given ample amount of time. Zach Wilson was given 2 plus a third year on the New York Jets, right after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Justin Fields, a quarterback that, quite honestly, isn't that great, was given 3 years on the Chicago Bears. Teddy Bridgewater, Marcus Mariota, Carson Wentz. You go down the line. Every single first-round quarterback drafted since 2014, every single quarterback was given at least 2 full years to start. And I mean this. Bryce Young's better than a lot of these dudes. He was way better than Kenny Pickett. Will be way better than Kenny Pickett ever was. And to further reiterate the point, since 2000, there's been 17 quarterbacks drafted picked number 1 overall. And every single one of those quarterbacks were given at least 3 years to start on their respective team. 5 of those 17 quarterbacks were given between 3 to 5 years to start on their respective team. That includes guys like Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell was given 3 years on the Raiders to be a starting quarterback and to figure this thing out. Sam Bradford was given 4 years on the Rams. Mitch Trubisky was given 4 years on the Chicago Bears. And then you look at all the other number 1 picks, and they've been there for 6, 7 years, their entire career. So moving off of Bryce Young is just a boneheaded move. It doesn't make sense. Yesterday I was reading an article, and it said, if Bryce Young performs well against the Denver Broncos, his draft capital, what the Panthers can get back from him, it's going to be sky high, or it's going to improve. If he plays well against Denver, that's all the more reason to keep him around. Denver has a top 5 defense. I don't know why people are so quick in wanting to move Bryce Young. He's not a headache in the locker room, right? Him and Dalton have a great connection. Bryce Young said that he and Dalton have an awesome relationship, and he's grown a lot under Dalton since Dalton was named the starting quarterback. His teammates seem to love him. It does not make sense. There's no reason to how or why the Carolina Panthers would move off of him. It doesn't make any sense to me. And if you're worried for some weird reason, well, what if the Panthers want to draft a quarterback next season, right? Is there going to be animosity between the two of them? Just trade him in the offseason. At the minimum, give him the rest of the year to start. I think he deserves this year and next year. After the train wreck of the season the team gave him last year with the worst offensive line in football, with a 33-year-old wide receiver being his wide receiver 1 in Adam Thielen, and Miles Sanders is your running back 1, like, let's be real. Who's going to succeed in that? Nobody is. Nobody is. Come on. That's horrible. And then you give him 2 weeks in his second year to play. You can talk to any NFL player, any scout, any coach, and they'll tell you all the same thing. Week 1 is the weirdest week of football because you don't know what your team is like. It doesn't mean, well, after week 1, we know we're going to be bad or we know we're going to be good. But it's more along the lines of, We just don't know anything about our team. And the numbers also show to you from this year that quarterbacks in their first 2 weeks under a new team or in their second year of being a QB, they don't play well. So this season, there was 12 quarterbacks that were either second-year quarterbacks or joining a new team through free agency, a trade, or being a rookie QB. So we saw 24 games excluding Bryce Young. In 24 of those games, 16 quarterbacks threw for 210 yards passing or less. 2/3 of those starts. In 16 of those games, in 24 of those games, those quarterbacks went 12-12. Second-year quarterbacks or younger, so second years or rookies, went 4-8. And you're saying Bryce Young's a bad QB because he didn't have success in his first 2 weeks? That's baloney to me. So if any Panthers fan thinks, hey, you know what? Let's trade Bryce Young at the deadline, you're getting 10 cents on the dollar, and you're also sacrificing what could be a very bright future in Bryce Young. Either way, it doesn't make sense. If you're the Panthers, the way you have to look at this Bryce Young situation is this. If you sell him now, you're selling in a buyer's market. You're getting a conditional third-day pick. You're getting a fifth right now. If he balls out against Denver, you still get a fourth-round pick. You're still getting a day 3 pick. Either way, you're not getting anything. If you hold on to him, he's either going to be your future starting quarterback if he does well, or his value just goes up. And at the worst-case scenario, he stinks this week against Denver, and he stinks the rest of the season. You foreclose on the guy, and you say, you know what? We officially know that he's not good for our team anymore. And instead of getting a fifth for him, you just get a seventh. But either way, a fourth and a seventh, there's no difference. You're not changing the landscape of a team, but you're getting an answer as to how to move forward as a team. And that's what the Panthers should be seeking. Answers rather than just more questions. Because I guarantee you the first thing Carolina will be thinking if they were to move off him right now is, I wonder if Bryce Young is still good. You might as well find out that answer for yourselves by keeping him.